Special thanks to Thunderbird Perch for making this video happen. On the night of October 24th to 25th, 2025, a quiet corner of Ohio became the center of a dark and perplexing military mystery. 3 individuals connected to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base died across 3 separate locations. The official narrative quickly solidified. It was called a double murder-suicide. Jaime Pritchard, a 34-year-old researcher, was named the suspect. The official story framed it as a violent, tragic, but contained domestic incident. Yet for those who look closely at who these people were and the work they did, the official story feels incomplete. It leaves a void that invites deeper, more unsettling questions. The sequence of events, as reported, is stark and chilling. It began in the early hours of October 25th. Around 2 a.m., First Lieutenant Haime Gustidus was murdered at her home. A few hours later, around 4:30 a.m., police responded to the West Milton Municipal Building. There, they found Jaime Pritchard, who had taken his own life. The horror did not end there. Inside the trunk of his vehicle, investigators discovered the body of his wife, Jaime Pritchard. The timeline is tight, the violence is clear, but the motive remains shrouded in ambiguity. This incident did not happen in a vacuum. Wright-Patterson is not just any military installation. It is a nerve center for the Air Force Research Laboratory, a place where the future of warfare is imagined and engineered. The people involved were not mere administrators or support staff. They were integral parts of a complex machine working on sensitive defense projects. The case was immediately handed over to a joint task force, Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation, Air Force Office of Special Investigations. Lieutenant General Linda Hurry assured the public of a full, thorough investigation. She spoke of supporting the families. She spoke of supporting the co-workers. These are the standard, necessary responses to a tragedy. But when the tragedy involves those at the cutting edge of military science, the public's need for answers widens. It touches on national security and the nature of research conducted behind closed doors. To understand why this case raises so many flags, one must first understand who the victims were. They were not random individuals. Their roles placed them at the intersection of advanced technology, human biology, military finance. First Lieutenant Haime Gustidus, just 25 years old, was an active duty officer with a brilliant academic record. She held a master's in operations analysis from the Air Force Institute of Technology. She worked within the 711th Human Performance Wing, a specialized unit inside the Air Force Research Laboratory. This is not a desk job. It is a role at the forefront of human-machine integration. Jaime Pritchard, 33, held a different but equally critical position. She was an employee of the Air Force Life Cycle Management Center. That center manages the entire life cycle of Air Force systems: initial conception funding, eventual retirement. Jaime Pritchard, the man identified as the perpetrator, was also deeply embedded in this world. At 35, he worked for the Air Force Research Laboratory. His exact role is less clearly defined in public reports, but his connection to AFRL placed him in the same high-stakes innovation ecosystem. He was part of the intellectual fabric of Wright-Patterson. The official story asks us to believe this highly intelligent individual, surrounded by and contributing to groundbreaking science, simply snapped and coincidentally eliminated 2 other key personnel from this sensitive environment. The professional convergence of these 3 people is striking. We have a neural researcher, a financial manager overseeing military systems, and a fellow lab employee. Gustidus was a rising star in a highly specialized field. Jaime Pritchard had insight into the financial architecture supporting that field. Jaime Pritchard was part of the same research culture. Their deaths represent a significant loss of institutional knowledge. This concentration of expertise, now permanently gone, pushes the narrative beyond a simple domestic dispute. The 711th Human Performance Wing is where the story pivots from a local crime to a matter of global technological significance. This is not a typical military unit. Its mission is to enhance the performance and decision-making capabilities of Airman Guardians. One of the primary ways it seeks to achieve this is through the Neural Interfaces Lab. This lab is dedicated to neuromodulation and brain-computer interfaces. They are working to create a direct link between the human brain and external machines. The research is as ambitious as it sounds. The AFRL team at Wright-Patterson has publicly discussed its goal to give personnel the ability to rapidly acquire knowledge and skills through direct brain interfaces. They speak of achieving unprecedented access to the brain. One specific project mentioned is the Individualized Neural Learning System, INEURA-LS. This system uses electrodes cleverly placed inside the ear canal to monitor brain signals. The stated purpose is to identify optimal brain states for learning, allowing a pilot to absorb new information faster or maintain perfect focus during a high-stress mission. To achieve these goals, the 711th Wing collaborates with outside organizations. One such partner is OpenBCI, a company that develops open-source hardware and software for BCI technology. The AFRL entered into a formal agreement to evaluate OpenBCI's Galea hardware, a device that merges a brain-computer interface with a virtual reality headset. Dr. William R. Awe noted multiple avenues for using this neurotechnology. The work is real, it is funded, and it is happening right where Lieutenant Gustidus worked. This research, while aimed at performance enhancement, inherently involves technologies that can monitor and potentially influence brain activity. Dr. Nathaniel Bridges has stated the goal is to use neural signals to develop algorithms that determine how and when the brain is most receptive to information. The ethical line between enhancing focus and controlling perception is incredibly fine. The existence of this technology in a classified environment is critical context surrounding the October 25th deaths. It is the science of reading and writing to the mind. While the neural interface research captures the imagination, the role of Jaime Pritchard provides a grounded avenue for investigation. She worked in the Air Force Life Cycle Management Center. The AFL-CMC is the administrative and logistical backbone for the Air Force's technological ambitions. It handles the money. It manages the contracts. It oversees the supply chains that turn concepts into deployable hardware. A financial employee inside this organization is a gatekeeper of information. Budgets for advanced military research are notoriously opaque. Programs are often hidden within larger, innocuous-sounding line items. A project as sensitive as direct neural interfaces would be buried under layers of classification. Someone in Jaime Pritchard's position could see through that fog. She might have processed payments, reviewed contracts, or audited expenditures that, to an outsider, would mean nothing. To an insider, they could reveal scope, scale, and intent. This is where the known facts end and cautious speculation must begin. When conventional explanations seem insufficient, researchers turn to alternative hypotheses. One such hypothesis is Project Blue Beam. This is a controversial and unproven conspiracy theory. It posits using advanced technology, such as sophisticated holographic projections and neurologically delivered messages, to stage a massive deceptive event, such as a faked alien invasion or a divine revelation to usher in a new world order. This essay does not endorse the Blue Beam theory as fact. However, it is impossible to ignore that the technologies described align with Wright-Patterson's stated research goals. A clandestine program seeking these capabilities would need two core components. First, a way to project hyper-realistic 3D images into the sky. Second, a way to directly interface with human perception, to make people hear, think, or feel things that support the visual illusion. This is precisely what BCI and neural interface technology promise. The work of the 711th Human Performance Wing on neuromodulation and on direct brain interfaces provides a plausible pathway. Determining optimal brain states for information reception could be repurposed. It could become a method for implanting thoughts, sounds, or emotional states directly into a target population's consciousness. The hardware, like the Galea headset, which merges VR with BCI, is a platform for testing and refining such capabilities. This link is speculative, but it is not illogical. The deaths at Wright-Patterson, viewed through this speculative lens, take on a different meaning. They are no longer a simple domestic tragedy. Instead, they could be interpreted as the cleanup of a leak or the removal of personnel who knew too much about the true application of their research. Lieutenant Gustidus, the neural researcher Jaime Pritchard, the financial tracker Jacob Pritchard, the inside colleague together, the science, the funding, and the internal staff. Their simultaneous removal effectively erases a critical node of knowledge. Zooming out from the specifics of this case, one can observe a potential pattern that has troubled analysts of military and intelligence operations for decades. This is the pattern of sudden, often violent, and professionally convenient removals of individuals with unique expertise. These are not just any personnel. Scientists, engineers, financial officers, they understand not just their part, but how it connects to the larger, often classified whole. The official story provides a neat, closed loop and discourages further inquiry. Jacob Pritchard is cast as the lone, disturbed actor. The motive is assumed to be personal. But that narrative diverts attention from the professional lives of those involved. It makes their work seem incidental background rather than a central factor. The human tragedy becomes a shield for the operational secret. Lieutenant Gustidus was not just a researcher. True experts in her field are rare. Jaime Pritchard had visibility into the financial lifeblood of advanced systems. Their deaths, allegedly by a colleague, neutralize a specific knowledge set. If one sought to halt a leak or shut down a compromised cell, it might look very much like the events of October 25, 2025. This is not to say every tragedy is a conspiracy. It is to say that when a pattern emerges, it deserves scrutiny. Sudden losses in high-stakes fields should trigger a higher level of investigation. We must ask if other personnel in similar research have met untimely ends. Building such timelines is standard counterintelligence practice. In public, it is how we hold secretive organizations to account. That's the concern. The deaths of Haime Gustidus, Jaime Pritchard, and Jacob Pritchard leave urgent questions. These questions are for OSI, Air Force leadership, and Congressional Oversight. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. Comment your thoughts.